what we did yesterday was we looked at the styles, the cascading styles. First thing is when we give with hash, that actually means that ID. If there is any element with this ID in the HTML page, then that actually will get this attributes, the style attributes. Okay, and you can pretty much write a plain element. I want to change the properties of body, or I want to change the properties of table. You can pretty much do this, or you say that I want to apply style to a particular paragraph having this ID. Okay, what I can do is I can do something like this. My paragraph. Okay, I can write this, or I want to I want to do something. I want to apply some styles. Okay, to a paragraph having that uses this particular style ID. I hope you understand this. The difference between these two is this is for the ID and this is for style ID. Meaning, say if I have this is for the first one. For the second one, I think it is the class. Yeah. And because I did not specify any colors there, so let me color. Okay. My para. Okay. Some text. And let me try to see how it looks like. Okay, so you see this, but because of the other styles, it went to the back. But you could see that they are there here because of the div locations taking. Maybe I can what I can do is push these things to the maybe here. I guess this might be working. No, fine. So I need to work on the elements, but you see the color here and the I can see only single character there. Or let me fix that.
You can put in the right side.
Hmm? Right side, how?
Where division ID is equal to right side, you can put there.
Divide, okay. No. This is paragraph, right? Okay, margin left. Let's give, maybe 600 px. Oops. Oops. What happened to this, guys? Why is that this everyone has to move on towards this? That is interesting. Fine, I'll not fix that for now. Just rework with the logistics. But my point is, margin top equal to say 500 pixel. Yeah, see here, they came down now. And why only one? Oh, there's too much. There's a too big difference. No, okay. Also not. Okay, I don't know. Fine. Actually, the I explained the difference that the ID part and the class part. If I give just hash, so this I can pretty much generic all the HTML elements I can write like this, or as Jimmy did, you can say you can put all your properties with hash and whatever HTML element has this ID. This is nothing specific to div or anything. Okay, if I specify for any element, if I specify this, okay, and it works. I can actually, yeah, I can try this quickly. So this right side part. I don't know, somewhere it is gone. No, I think it's still here.
It went up this side.
It went up, yeah. So that's something, the layouting part is something that is okay. For now, this is not in my plate. I'll not do that now. Fine. I think I'm done with the styles part. So going forward, what we need to do is what I wanted to introduce you is to the model view controller design part. Model view controller. Model view controller is all about actually separating the concerns, separating the concerns at the layer level, in the sense, if say suppose if Jimmy is the UI expert and if I'm the Java developer, okay, in that case, in the JSP page, if we try to write some logic, then then maybe the Jimmy need to understand the I mean if he is not a Java guy, in that case it will be difficult for him to actually understand or do anything in the JSP file. Similarly, suppose if I am the Java guy and if we need to render the HTML from the servlet, it is a difficult thing for me. Or you need people who know both of them. And in that case also, like, there's a mix and match, and it looks like, uh, something like a mixed veg curry, and it doesn't look that, I mean, maybe generally, I mean, and the comparison is not good, but and here it looks a bit awkward, and maintenance is very difficult, especially when you generate a big file having multiple lines. So for that purpose, the model view controller, what it will do is that let your servlet control the flow. Okay, meaning first request, every request will come to the servlets only. It will not come to any JSP or HTML, or you can whatever contents you actually keep in the web content folder, say the CSS demo, first page, header, home, gym.css, gym login, login.html, all these files are directly accessible. Meaning, if I run this particular page, now see what is happening. So I can pretty much access this particular page. Okay. So what I can do is I can, if the user knows that, okay, this is what I need to access, he can type and he will go there. So this is a different HTML file. So you can pretty much type like this. But now I don't want the user to actually know the HTML part. Okay. I want to control him. I want to type this. and see I want to, and where is the JSP? There is no JSP here, right? What is happening is the control is going to the servlet. Control is going to the servlet. It's called login servlet here, and here I want to do the logic, or maybe this registration may be a better example. Registration servlet may be a better example. Okay, let me take this, and if we access this from the browser, see now I am accessing a servlet with a path register. Now, if you closely look at this particular thing, here these drop down values are from the database. They are from the database. I queried and actually got these values from the database. So often it happens that the forms that you want to generate, maybe that you need to have some dynamic data. Meaning the get request, when you hit the URL first, the HTTP method is what? Get, right? So on get request, I want to generate this data dynamically, okay? And then I want to forward the request to JSP page to render the data. For the generation of data or any logic related with it, that should lie in the servlet. So if I look at my particular servlet, the registration servlet that I wrote, I said I'm setting couple of attributes under request. One is called request.set attribute departments. Next, request.set attributes designation. Now I'm saying I wrote a common DAO, one DAO class, and where I said select star from department, and I create a map. Okay, let me explain this logic. Okay, what I'm doing, we did discuss about the collections, right? So the map is an interface, key value pair, integer and string combination, and I say, and this text needs to be changed. This is actually my other registration page where I had states as a variable and I reuse some part of it. Designations. Okay. So here let me go back. Okay. So I have a map object called departments key value pair. Okay. Now I'm opening a JDBC connection and I'm saying select star from department. So the department has ID and name, right? So what I'm doing is I'm adding the elements to the department map. And I'm saying results.get int of one. When that means the ID. Okay, and another one is name. Or I can say ID name. Okay. So I'm putting that into hash map. So if I have 10 rows in the database table, so I get 10 of them added to the map, the department's map. Here I declare the map and here the initialization hash map of integer and string, right? So I just created a hash map with the data from database and I'm actually assigning that to a particular variable in the request. I'm setting an attribute, request.set attribute, right? And I'm actually whatever is written from here, that particular map is set there. Now what I did is I wanted to hide the JSP files from accessing generally. Okay, when user can actually like type and access the JSP pages, right? So I wanted to explicitly force that is not accessible to him. So what is available to the user is always whatever is there in the web content. Whatever is there in the web content, not in the web-inf. Okay, if I have something in the web-inf, that is only for the web application execution. During the web application execution, you your program, your servlet can access it, or during the deployment, your container reach the web.xml. As per that, it will execute, and the lib folder will have the jar files, but user and all will not see these jar files. This is only for the execution. Okay, this is a private area. So what I do is I want to force the user not to access any of my dynamic pages, So for that purpose, what I want to do is I moved here. You look at this, I created pages here. Register.jsp, login.jsp, header.jsp, footer.jsp, common.jsp. Okay. So I created some pages here, and what I'm actually doing is generate the data that is required, set it on the request. Okay. And then get reference to this particular thing, get the request dispatcher for the request register.jsp and forward the request to that. Now let's look at the registration.jsp, register.jsp. This is pretty much almost same as earlier as it was, but I did some changes. So I included one file called common.jsp, and that JSP basically there is no presentation code here, but I try to include the CSS files. What I have is the CSS, and I also included a couple of JavaScript libraries. I'll discuss about the JavaScript, okay? But I included the CSS as well as I included the say couple of JavaScripts. That JS stands for JavaScript. That's the jQuery libraries, okay? So I included that in the common.jsp. Okay, and I'm including the output of this common.jsp right here. So what happens is my HTML page, or sorry, my JSP page has the cascading style sheets in place, or the input. If I look at this particular generated output, where is the view source? See the view source? The include part will actually, the magic with the include is that it will actually place the content of that particular file into this. Now, if there is any dynamic part in the command.jsp, even that also comes, and that gets evaluated, and the correct value will be rendered, sent to the browser. So that's a part of it, okay? And then the scripts parts, you look at this particular thing. What we do is we type script language equal to JavaScript, and this is similar to Java but not really Java. This is something that gets executed by the browser. So I can say, let me see if this works for me. Alert hi. Okay. See here. So the JavaScript, what you do is we actually write here. We put a, like similar to the styles element script. I have a script element type equal to text slash JavaScript. Okay, and I can write my JavaScript functions here. I think I can write function hello, and I say alert hello world, and I can remove this because that's a statement. Rather, I want to execute this. Say suppose on click of a button. I'll write some button somewhere. I need to remove this code later, but yeah. see on click. Let me see how it looks like. Oh, sorry, that's a different button. This is a button. Sorry. Yeah. Hello world. I did not give a name to the button, so that is the reason. That's the reason. I think I should be giving what not the name but the value. Value equal to my button. Okay. So when I click here, I can execute the JavaScript. So again, W3 Skills website is the best place to learn JavaScript. Okay. So where is my registration? It is right, almost like Java. I mean, the line ends with a semicolon, and you write your comments with this thing, and there are various other things. Document dot get element by ID means document. There is a DOM object model wherein it looks like um, everything that you have in your page is complete page is called document. Okay, so from the document what I can do is I can get the body, I can get the child nodes. You see here, the best thing with Eclipse is that it shows up everything, whatever API is there, it shows you that. Okay, so but I'm not going to teach you the complete JavaScript such but rather I say that document dot get element. You can actually do so many things, but get element by ID, and you give the ID of the element. Okay, and say suppose and equal to, so for the same button, let's try to play with it. Okay, and dot dot set attribute value. Let me see if it works. Refresh. Okay, yeah, you clicked me. See here, the text has been changed, right? So what happens is that you can actually do so many things with the JavaScript. Okay, and this the other part that I'm introducing is that I will not do this part. Rather, maybe I can do that in a CSS demo, and I'll yeah, that's actually a better place to do. Let me redo this. Control Shift or CSS demo, and okay. So I have this here, and then I'll also get this particular thing into that particular page, so that I can pretty much leave this particular thing as it is. So I don't need to really check in any changes to register, because I have that for a particular purpose. So you can click, there are so many things that work with, that you can do with JavaScript. Say on blur or on last focus, in the sense, there is an input field. See here, and the text is changed. You click. Okay, so there's so many things that you can do with JavaScript, and I mean, basically, like you can do everything that you want to do, anything that you want to do. On click of it, you want to do something. On the moment your input field gets focused, you want to do something. Since or you did a key press at the input field, and the moment your key up happens, you can do something. So those things, even if you see here, and you look at these are the events. Unblur means that say now I'm in an input field. I'm in an input field. See here, say if I'm at the username. Okay, I press tab, control goes to second field. So before this control goes to second field, and the moment I click tab, see the focus is lost from the first field. So unblur event for the first field, the username field happens there. Okay, so that's where am I? So what happens is on change. On change event is nothing but the moment your value changes, this event gets triggered. If your value of the element changes, that particular event gets triggered. So this is more a event based mechanism, and handling them from a browser perspective, this is what we do. And double click. On click also is there, on focus, on help, on key down, on key press, on key up, on mouse down, on mouse move, on mouse out, on mouse over, on mouse up, on select, read only, and this is the property. But other things says events. Okay, and that should be, see here, no, on click also should be there. Okay, sorry, on click is not there because it's already, I added on click here. So that is the reason it's not showing still in the pending list, because it does. I mean, they want to not add multiple. They're forcing us to not to add multiple event handlings at the same for the same object. So the moment I select on click, now in the context help, I think I'm not getting on click again because that is already included. So the JavaScript part is actually like you write something called function. Okay, or if you write directly, if I write directly, what happens is that this gets executed immediately. This gets executed immediately the moment page is loaded. Not here, but here. So, hi, see here, the moment page is loaded, that time itself this hi gets called because I am writing as the plain instruction. So browser, when it download the page, complete content, it will start reading and executing, trying to render everything line by line. So the moment it says script element, okay, fine, I have JavaScript, and then this says alert hi. Oh, that means okay, I need to print alert, it will print. And then it says function, hello, okay, this guy is doing something, there is a function, let me make a note of it. If someone calls this method, if there is some event happens, or if someone calls this particular method, that time I will execute this method, but immediately it will not execute. So it waits for us to click on this particular button and say for the on click event to happen. So see, and the function is executed. So you can write any number of functions in the JavaScript, and it like this is the syntax. Now, my focus is, generally like how we can do the validations. Form validations is, say suppose I'll keep a dummy form here. Form name equal to my form. null is not required here, but id equal to user name. I'm use name. I'll user id. id. I mean, it can be same as well. You can give. So the mistake that I did here in this HTML is rather type is text. Okay, and maybe I'll give name and id as same thing. Okay, and my intention is only first let me write the id part, password, common name equal to password, and now sorry, so where is my button? Input type equal to submit and equal to login on click, say validate, and there is no validate method yet, so what I'll do is I'll write this validate method function validate. Then how do I declare a variable? I can say var equal to document dot get element by id username, okay, that value, not value. Okay, so if username equal to null or username dot length, say less than or equal to 0, say let's say alert alert, let's say username cannot be empty. Okay, so first let us see if this works. Say username cannot be empty, okay, and the same page is loaded, but now let me see. Oops, so there is a bug. There is a bug. Username is not value. Okay. This way also it's not working. I'll get rid of this alert high. That's correct. So node value, what is it? I need to get the first child. I guess this time it should work. Gemini. And null. Username cannot be empty. See here. Now what I did was that, and I mean, basically like I don't have the styles. I mean, this is not proper. I can add some BR and say username, password, and at the end, I'm not paying attention to the layout part. Okay, that what I'm trying to introduce you is to the JavaScript. And now because it is working, so what I can do is I can comment this alert or I can remove this alert. Similarly, what I can do is password, oops, password, and what I can still improve on top of this is where message equal to first. Let's start with an empty message and I'll say password, password cannot be empty if message dot length is greater than or equal to 0, no, greater than 0, alert message. Let's see if this works. Okay. See, username cannot be empty, password cannot be empty. You see this? Now let me enter. I'll, okay, Jimmy. See, password cannot be empty, right? Let me try once more. And let's test. And it does not say anything. Now see, it shows as if it is successful, right? So that's actually about JavaScript. You can write lot of stuff. What I'll do is I'll commit this change in the CSS demo. Okay. So this is, you can pretty much use this for reference. I mean, you can actually, like,
Harinath.
W3 skills has W3 schools has, lot of literature of, our internet you can get, and there are, maybe I can even recommend books on JavaScript. Okay. But what I'm going to do is I'm not going to use any of the custom hand code JavaScript. That's what the warning. What if we have to write, JavaScript and check the validations, see, It has taken some considerable time, and just for the username and password. And in every page, if I need to write hand code, and the validations will go very complex. Say email ID, then you need to think about email ID validation. You need to have at the rate, and then there should be a domain, there should be username before at the rate, and there should be some domain name after at the rate, and there should be a dot and in, or the domain extension .com.in.co.in.org kind of thing. So all those things you need to writing the validations is a tricky part. So I'm not going to use that. Rather I'm going to use there are jQuery is the independent JavaScript library. So what you can actually type jQuery. Again, jQuery is a complex thing, okay? And what I found was that Linda tutorials are really good for jQuery. Even if you have bandwidth, I can explain some extent. So, but jQuery you can just download the jQuery library, nothing but the .js file, okay? And downloading jQuery, you have, see here, what you have is that .js files. You just download the .js files, and there is one thing that I want to explain with the .js files here. Most of the JavaScripts, just wait a moment. So most of the JavaScript libraries that are available on the internet, they come with .min, and other one is here. This is a regular file, and there is another one is .min. So the difference between these two files is that the min file, is actually the code is the spaces. There are no lines and all. See here, everything is compressed kind of thing. Now I'll show this file. See here, this goes, in a detailed way. This is a developer friendly one. You see everything. The min version is that, the most of the JavaScript libraries come with this min and, regular version. So that min version is that they remove all unwanted characters. If there are any comments or any commented lines or any spaces, anything, because such as your application, if we use a particular library, JavaScript library, the JavaScript file, and regular similar to the CSS, all these files, they get downloaded to the browser of the user computer. Okay, so if our third party library takes so much of memory, or it occupies a lot of bandwidth, then the page loading will be very slow. So in order to reduce that particular aspect, so they actually lack JavaScript libraries. They provide a .min version where they remove all that, whatever is the bare minimum required to execute it. Your browser will understand. See here, this guy says function A, B, and it goes into, and I mean, it's very difficult to understand that particular line. Okay. Whereas here I can understand. You see that there is a lot of good documentation here, beginning itself, and the documentation and all is not there in case of min version. So they actually strip all that, whatever is not required to be executed. So they'll strip that. So that's how that's about jQuery. A brief introduction, the website and that stuff. So you download, I have downloaded and added that particular stuff into script folder. Okay, I have added that to the script folder of our Office web application. So on top of it, if you clearly notice one more thing, what I did is that on click of this calendar icon, I see this is this looks better, right? This is called jQuery date picker. This is called jQuery date picker, and how I'm actually inserting that into here is, okay, so that logic and all is here. Now I need to remove this my other file because I am not interested with that, and complete elements. So this is my original file. So in the jQuery there is some I'll talk about the jQuery, how actually really it works. Like, I'll give you a brief introduction tomorrow, but this is the part. Okay, this part does the magic. Okay, this part does the magic of inserting the date picker there, right? And other one is called, the validations, the farm validations. You look at the second part. I wrote something here, and when I try to register an employee, and say suppose, and I click here, and see here on the right side, because of the styles related changes, now actually like it, the message is coming, I mean, this is what is happening. And the CSS demo, if you look at, if I submit something, it shows a pop-up, right? Alerts. And alerts are not really user friendly. When if you have so many alerts or something like that, people actually will not come to your website again. So what I'm doing here is that I have an input form, and one sec, let me see if this guy should not be there in the bottom. Yeah. So when I click this, so I'm getting this errors on the right side. See, and I fill it. See, now let's go with say nil, okay, something. I don't see, the username is auto populated, and I give password test and the email. The errors are gone, on the fly. On the right side, you saw errors, and now it is not there. And see, and I try to enter email ID. Still the error is there. It checks for the complete. Now it's gone. So some email format. So now if I give date of birth and say, I think it should not accept this particular part. Come on. I don't want to here. Okay, this guy is not letting me do mistake. So maybe let me type 400. Oh, come on. See, this validation that it has added, that it's not letting me enter anything other than more 2 digits. Ideally, I think it should show an error here, because this is not a valid date. But actually, if I mean, such as this date picker, the moment you click on this particular anywhere in the input field, immediately I'm getting this date picker. So the probability of people doing mistakes is very rare, and I cannot enter. You try to type A B C D, it will not, alphabets it will not take, numbers it will take, but alphabets it will not take. I'm trying now to enter alphabets, but it is not taking. It will only take a number input. So this is about the JavaScript introduction. So basically, like other aspect that I was talking about is the model view controller, right? So I actually started there and landed up with the JavaScript. So what my intention is that, look, the Java code, whatever logic you want to do that in the servlet. So put all your Java logic in the servlet, and what you do is you forward the rendering part, you transfer the rendering part to the JavaScript, JSP. So JSP part. So I have registration servlet, and then I have register.jsp, and the register.jsp has form, the rendering logic, and JavaScript logic, styles, everything is part of JSP. Now if you clearly see the clean separation, say the servlet is now the request. Now there is no way user can access this particular register.jsp, because I place this particular page in web-inf pages, and this page is not accessible. You try to run this page, you will not be able to run. Let me see whether it will do anything. I'm expecting, see here, this is not accessible. This JSP is not accessible. But the same thing is not true. If I have, same thing is not true if the content is there in the web content folder. Okay. So if I run this login.html in the web content folder, I can pretty much say run on server, and I see the HTML. So one thing is that, here I want to control the flow, the model view controller design pattern. We will continue the discussion tomorrow, but to close the session, what's happening is that, the controlling part and the data part is to the servlet, and the rendering part to the JSP. Okay. So that's where, you can actually, like, the guy who is writing the servlet, he can pretty much no need to worry about the rendering part. He can, as long as he has the specification, okay, these are the data I need, this is what I need to execute, and these are the data I need to get from the database. So I need to do this. So he can pretty much work on it independently. And the other side, the JSP part, the JSP developer, as long as we have a common agreement between the presentation developer and the core Java developer or the server developer, then they can actually discuss, okay, this is what I am going to give you. I am going to give you department drop down. I mean the values for the department drop down, and you actually make sure that you are rendering it properly. Okay, so that's what the agreement. So how this guy will render is, I introduce a tag library concept here. I'll talk about the tag library as well tomorrow. See here, I did small piece, So select is for the drop down values, HTML part, and I think we looked at it is in the few days ago, that maybe a week or a week more than a week before. So here there is something called I am reading this, I'm saying C colon for each items. Now I'm putting that curly bracket and destination. So here it's reading from the request.set attribute I'm doing in the servlet, right? Registration servlet, and I'm saying I'm putting it here, and it's reading. It reads here, and it will actually generate the values dynamically. It is something like a for loop. Okay, to make this happen, other changes that I have, I'll repeat that tomorrow as well. But here I added one library, less than personal @tag lib URI. That's the prefix. And other change I did is that I added 2 jars. So this is just to give you heads up. We'll discuss in detail tomorrow. I'm running short of time, so we'll close it for today. Please look at these changes that I have done, and also please spend some time to go through the JavaScript part and the W3 schools. So please do that, and we will please come back with the questions, and we will see tomorrow if you have any pending doubts. Okay. So that's it for today. We'll see you again tomorrow, and we'll have a class tomorrow. Okay? We'll have a class tomorrow. We will not have any more breaks, and we will close maybe on the 30th or 31st, maybe 30th. Okay, I'm planning for 30th. So we have another 6 days of time, and we need to complete the application. And completing the application with the content, I mean, with all the required related technologies, having clear view about it. Maybe that we will not delve too deep into it, because talking about one particular topic, JavaScript itself is like different language altogether. Similarly, CSS is a different language altogether. But what we are doing is, we are trying to understand what it is and play with it. Okay, a little bit. And as and when you require, you can go and you can go and explore. You can do a lot more about it. So fine. Thank you.